It's about the first time in a week the sun's come out, so we've set up a little picnic. We found a great little spot to pull up. Got the solar panels out. So yeah, little French lunch, I reckon. Look at this place. And welcome back to episode 5 of my winter cooking in the Alps series for chef campers. This week I'm cooking once again another super simple recipe, because cooking in the Alps is super simple. We haven't got time to go or muck about with fancy stuff. We just want to cook the food and enjoy the mountains. So I really like this series. It's been great fun, and that's not just because of the wine. Now the weather in Morzine has drastically changed, and so is the atmosphere. The snow is starting to melt. The sun is appearing, and the people from all over France have arrived on holiday. Anyway, back to the recipe. So this week I am cooking, begins with a C, canard, confit of duck. It is a super classic in the Alps, and it is also a dish that you could probably cook in about 20 minutes if you're really in the mood for cooking. Me, I've lit up the roadie today, and I'm just going to take my time, chill, and maybe have a glass of wine. Sorry, Mum. Okay. Right, let me take you through the ingredients. First of all, we've got the confit duck. Now you can confit duck yourself. I will do a whole episode maybe one day if I've got too much time on my hands on how you confit duck. I spent a lot of time last year doing it. Or you can just go to the butchers and get them ready confit. They're about 90% as good as doing it yourself. And for that extra 10%, it's not worth the effort. You can keep those in the fridge, pop them in a frying pan, and 15 minutes they're ready. So confit duck already prepared. To serve with the confit duck, we are going to go for some fennel, which I'm going to slice about 1 centimetre thick with a little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of oil, and then just char that over the coals. So it's going to be like a roasted charred fennel. And to go with all of that is a kind of a bit of a smoked cherry sauce. Now for the smoked cherry sauce, there are a few ways in which you can make it. For me, I've got myself half a cup of cherries. They're from a jar, don't worry. And they're just delicious as they are. I had them on my pancakes the other day, you might have seen. And to go with the cherries, we've got a mug of wine. Now I've got a mug of red wine. You can go for Cabernet Sauvignon or Bordeaux, whatever. Don't worry too much. If you've got port available and you carry a bottle on your van, I've drank it all. You can go with a bit of port and red wine, it'd be quite nice. If not, just add a little bit more sugar, which I'll talk about next. So for the sugar, I've got about 40 to 50 grams of brown sugar. Go in with a little bit and add more if you think you need it. You can't take sugar out, but you can always add it. Little tip. And to kind of give that cherry sauce a little bit of depth and to match in with the fennel, I'm going to make it almost a bit like a mulled wine. So we've got 1 roll of cinnamon, dry cinnamon. We've got 2 star anise, those little aniseed flavour things, and then about 4 cloves, which you can sometimes chew on instead of toothpaste, I think. I did that in India once, that's another story. Right, so we're going to mix all that together and I'll talk you through it, don't worry, but there's a lot of noise in the background, so I might have to do some shouting and then lots of B-roll footage, which you might like this week. Right, cue the cooking, Steph. So this week, like I said, I'm cooking on the roadie grill. Now, rather than build a big log fire like I usually do, I've decided just to get a tub of charcoal on the go in my chimney. This way I can get cooking a bit quicker, and then once I finish cooking, I can then just put some logs on it or some wood on it from nearby and enjoy sitting around. So I think they're ready to go on the roadie now, so let's put them on. Okay, let's make the cherry sauce. Now, if I was cooking this on the Weber Go Anywhere or the Cob, I'd probably put the cherries in a little tray, put some wood chips over the coals, put the lid down, and put a bit more smoke on there. I was going to do something on the roadie, but I'm just going to keep it simple. You can cook this on 2 gas rings if you want. So, cherry sauce. In with half a mug of cherries, mug of wine, 1, 2, 3, 4 cloves, 2 star anise, 1 cinnamon stick. We'll sprinkle in a little bit of sugar, maybe half of that, so about 20 grams. Pop that on the reheat, reduce it by about 50%. It is really as simple as that, nothing complicated here. If you had port, it would have been good to mix the port with the wine like I said earlier on. And if you're cooking on a Cob or a Weber Go Anywhere, smoking the cherries a little bit first, but I'm just going to go as it is. I'm going to smoke the duck a little bit instead, I think. Right, let's pop this on the stove. Follow me, Steph. Straight onto the charcoal. I can now lower that to increase the heat and just let that simmer away. Easy peasy. Let's get ready with the duck. Next job is getting the duck ready. Now, when you buy duck that's already been confit, what you'll find is that there's fat in the pack already. We kind of want to put that to one side. If you want to do this with potatoes, maybe fried off potatoes, use some of that duck fat. But also, there's something else in this bag which I'm quite keen to use, and that's this jelly that you'll see around the legs and other places. That's pretty much the base of a duck stock. So what I'm going to do is scrape off that jelly and pop it into my cherry sauce, and it's just going to add a bit more depth to that sauce. So first job, open this up. Be careful with the knives. So this is what I like to call the golden nectar. I've scraped some of that off the duck legs and I've just popped that into the pan to go with the cherry sauce. It's always good to maybe taste it a little bit first to see if it's salty or not, but it's generally all right, to be honest. So straight in the pan with that. The duck's going to have a little bit of this dry fat on. Now you can put that straight onto the barbecue, but what will happen is that will drip down onto your coals and it'll cause flare-ups which will char the skin too much. So it's best to try and wipe it off if you can, but don't worry too much. What you can do is just raise your grill really high, so if it does drop, the flames aren't going to catch it. So I might go with that method this week, but be very careful. See how the flames are flicking up? Well, I've got the grill a little bit higher. The beauty of this roadie grill is that I can lower and higher it really quick and easy, which is what I love about it. Just gonna flip them over in a second, get the rest of the fat off it, and then just let them slowly roast. I think about keeping them at that height because it's quite a nice steady heat. The way I measure heat when I'm around a campfire is by putting my hand over it, and if I can hold it there for about 3 seconds, I know it's quite a high heat. If I can hold it there for about 5 or 7 seconds, then it's more of a medium heat. And then if it's about 8 seconds, then it's a gentle roast. And that's whenever you watch me on a video or watch me cooking, if you see me cook live, I'm always putting my hands into the fire. Everyone thinks I'm being silly, but I'm not. I'm actually really smart. Right, let's see how we get on with those. You can tell the duck's gone on the barbecue because look who's coming to visit. Rupert, you waiting for some duck? Yeah, he knows the score. Now another great way to cook duck confit over the campfire is to use this, a Dutch oven. Using a Dutch oven will stop the flames from flaring up and causing your meat to burn, but it also replicates a bit more of an oven that you see at home. So you can pop it straight into the Dutch oven, it will spread the heat evenly and simply hang that above the fire. You can also put some coals on the lid as well if you want, but for me I would cook it very gentle. Now if you wanted to do traditional confit duck on the campfire, which I might do one day, I would definitely use one of these and I'd have a tiny fire. What you basically want to do is put your duck legs into salt for about 24 hours, put some herbs as well if you like, then pat it off, don't rinse it off because the duck will then reabsorb the water. So you put the salt on and it's brining it, which will take all the moisture out and enhance the flavour of the meat. Then what you need to do is to get some duck fat and melt that down to about 80-90 degrees and then pop the duck in it and cook it for about 6 hours. Now if you're doing it on campfire, fill one of these with duck fat, which is perfect for seasoning your Dutch oven. Pop your duck legs in, put some coals on the top, a little bit around the outside, not directly under, and just leave it for 6 or 8 hours. Then pull your ducks out, pull the cold fat off it, trim it up and then back on the barbecue. But see how easy that was? Yeah, that's how I do it now. Let's get the fennel ready. Now to get the fennel ready, what I tend to do is take the tops off. I'll put them to one side because I'll use them for a bit of garnish and maybe for a raw salad later on. We get the fennel, we keep the bottom on, and then we just cut across. So rather than this way, cut that way. And we're just gonna slice in about centimetre thick, little discs. Don't worry too much if it's a bit different. It's all about being relaxed in this series, isn't it? Pop these onto my plate. So we're going to go on with the oil. Squeeze of lemon. Give it a little rub. Easy as that. Just lowered the grill. After that initial part of putting the duck on and watching the flare-ups, the flames kick up, they kind of settled and went down. So I've lowered the grill a little bit and now I've got it on a medium to high heat on a grill with the ducks. I'm going to be turning them maybe every 5 minutes and continue to simmer down the cherry sauce. Now at this point with the cherry sauce, taste it. It should be reduced by about 50%. And now's a good time to decide if you want to add some sugar, or if you want to do something else, you could add some balsamic vinegar, which I quite like to do because I think it really helps the flavour of the cherries and everything else. So I'm going to taste this sauce now and decide if I need more sugar or maybe some more balsamic vinegar, and then I'm going to reduce it down further. I'm then going to go on with the fennel, and they're going to take about 4 or 5 minutes either side. Okay, my sauce is reduced down quite a bit. Now time to taste it. Be careful, it is going to be quite hot and it might scald your mouth. That's nice. That's really nice. That duck jelly that we put in before is now starting to come through and it's just delicious. Oh, just a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar. You could go in with quite a bit, but I don't think it needs it. That's just nice as it is. Nice as it is. Okay, that's going to go back on the grill. I'm going to let it simmer down a little bit more and then I'm going to pop the fennel on. The way I've got my grill set up is that I've got a lot of charcoal at one end and not much at the other end. I put the ducks on the area where there isn't much charcoal, so it's more of a gentle heat because you want to kind of slowly bring them up to temperature. You don't want to cook them too fast. The sauce, we kind of want that on a high heat so it simmers down, so that's got where the bulk of the charcoal is. We're going to be putting the fennels somewhere in between the two, and it's going to be about 4 or 5 minutes either side. So let's do that now. gonna start plating up now, but I just thought I'd show you these before the duck takes over the show. Charred fennels are one of my favourite things. Usually when you have fennel raw, it's got quite a strong aniseed flavour, usually mix it with apple, that sort of stuff. But when you char it and slowly roast it, it goes a little bit softer and takes on almost a bit of a nutty flavour. It's just fantastic. Really, definitely try this. It's one of my favourite sides. And it is completely underrated in my opinion. Right, I'm going to put the duck on, put the sauce on, then I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm just going to tuck in because I can't wait for this. Forget Valentine's Day. There's no reason why you can't love your lover every day of the week. Present them with a duck and cherry sauce. Try that one, you'll definitely like it.